Yeah, should be so fun. Now that we're rolling.
Hi there. Welcome to Subtractive IQ. I'm your host, Caleb Rumschlag, joined today with two of my closest friends.
Canon, the tank destroyer, Avey.
Half of that was Lily's nickname.
Wait, I was gonna say when did Canon become a tank destroyer?
Whatever. Canon, the tank, Avey.
I didn't think about this at all, but my name's Nick. That's just it.
Nick the Weatherman Wetherington.
Hold on. No, Nick the Lily's fiance, and that's all that really matters on this podcast. Wetherington.
Yeah, so if you listen to the last episode that came out, Lily was on it. That's this man's fiance.
Right.
And that's all I was referred to as, the lore master who also happens to be engaged to Lily, the destroyer Williams.
Nicholas the lore master Wetherington.
Should be.
Well, anyway, hey guys, welcome to Subtractive IQ.
What's up?
The show where I kind of just have fun and do what I want.
It tries to fix my posture by putting the mic stand a little too high.
You can lower the mic stand if you want.
I'm not going to. I'm too lazy.
I'm chilling.
Yeah, you're fine because you stole my chair.
I did
so before we get into it, tell me the most random thing that happened to you in the last week.
Most random
While
thing
I eat
that's
these fruit
happened to me.
snacks.
That's crazy.
You're
It's gonna
welcome.
be. We're gonna get like an ASMR for Caleb.
No, we're not. He just backed away from the mic. Go ahead, Canon.
Oh, I don't. You go first.
Okay, I was in church yesterday. I work at a church. I was wearing a Marine sweatshirt that I have that I was gifted. Well, it's sort of. It may or may not be Lily's. Anyway, I was wearing it in church yesterday, and this guy stops me. He's, I don't know how old, and he says...
Ballpark it. Ballpark it.
Well, he was in Marine boot camp at 62.
Okay, so he's like old.
So
he's like
old.
old.
But anyway, come to find out, this man's a former Marine who served in the Marines for 30 years.
He went to Nam.
He went to Nam.
Yeah.
He was in Desert Storm. And we talked for a solid 10 minutes about the Marines and how he felt honored to be a part of it. And I was like a little bit like, this is cool, and a little bit like, this is really embarrassing because I have no interest in going to the Marines right now because that's not where I feel called. I respect them. I have a lot of respect for the military, but it was a little bit like, oh, I just got called out for wearing this. I wear it in honor of the people I know who are part of it, not because I am. But it was really random because this was between second and third service of church, and this guy stops me and it's like, hey, you, are you going in the Marines? And I was like, no.
Kind of.
Anyway, his name's Ron. He's a legend. And he went to boot camp.
Not the Ron that...
No,
okay.
Ron Morrison's his name, not the Ron that plays guitar and bass at church.
Different Ron.
Older than that Ron. But yeah, he went to boot camp in 62 and served in the Marines for almost 30 years. And then went into law enforcement. So shout out our friend Donovan Connolly for following in his footsteps without knowing it.
Right.
Anyway, that's the random thing that happened to me in the last couple days.
You go next because I don't have.
I'm the host.
I don't have
Go.
one yet. But I don't have
Invent something.
I'm not gonna make something up. What's the question again? Weirdest thing?
What's the most random thing that happened to you last week?
Random thing that happened to me this last week. But I went. The gym was closed for 3 days, and I went every day that it was closed without noticing.
You went to the gym
every day.
That it was closed.
Every day that it was closed, I went to the gym. I was like, oh, it's Saturday. Maybe I'll go to the gym.
Open.
The gym's definitely open on Saturday. I went to the gym, it's closed. I was like, dang it, man.
That's a little
It's
awkward.
probably it'll be open tomorrow. Ignoring the giant sign that says it will be closed for like 3 days in a row.
And the email that you definitely got because I got it.
Yeah.
I'm not even a student anymore.
And I would like drink my pre-workout and go to the gym, and I'd be like, great. So I just drank pre-workout.
What did you do instead? You had to have been like...
Sat in my room and I was just tweaking the entire time. Just like scratching my skin off. It's like raw.
The other random thing that happened to me, Caleb, sorry, I'm totally stealing you for a second, but we had an ultimate tournament on Saturday. The Grace Ultimate team played. The Grace Actual team also played. And one of the guys on the Ultimate team had brought this sparkling water with hops in it. So it's non-alcoholic, but it does have hops, which is the same thing they put in beer. And we were talking, we're all sitting on a bench, and he's on the far end of the bench. There's two guys in between, and then there's me. And they're talking about how it tastes, and I'm like, what? And then the one guy is like, he says to one of the guys, like, you want to try it? And the guy's like, no. And then he says to me, you want to try it? And I'm like, yes, I actually do. And the guy who's holding the can currently that has a little bit left chugs it right after I said, yeah, I actually do. And I was like, that might be the funniest thing I've seen today.
Wow.
But then it turns
What a
out
loser.
he didn't even hear me.
Oh.
It was just the sequence of events where this guy, whose name was Greggy, he said, do you want to taste it? I was like, yeah, I actually do. And then Spencer, who's sitting on the end of the bench holding it, chugs the thing, and it looks just like, oh yeah, you do? Really? Well, take this. And then it turned out he just didn't hear me, but that made me laugh for a while because I was just like, wow, that was blatant.
Yeah, what a loser.
Yeah.
Right.
What?
Nothing.
It's your turn now, Caleb.
Yeah, it is your turn.
Oh, the most random thing that happened to me in this last week. I'll preface this story by saying how much I love my fiance.
I know where this is going.
Yesterday, so we went to her parents' house over this past weekend, and it was a good time. Her church does this like huge concert they call Roots. Actually, this was the last one, which I didn't know. It was the 20th anniversary of like when they started it. So they played a bunch of really cool music and kind of took secular songs but like used them in a context that it is like God glorifying,
Right.
which is really interesting when
Cool.
you start to think more about like what worship is and what it isn't. And that was a really cool experience. I liked it a lot more than last year's Roots. Not that I didn't like last year's Roots, but I just like this one a lot more. But anyway, on the way back from that, because her parents live 4 hours away from here, but we were going to pick up her roommate Reagan, her boyfriend, who lives at Cedarville, who goes to Cedarville. So we went to Cedarville, picked him up, and then drove another hour to Miriam's house. So she was driving for probably
Too long.
12 hours over the weekend, and we're coming back, and we're all just exhausted from the weekend. And I'm on my phone, and we're coming back. We're on the highway, and we're behind a semi. And Miriam's coming up on the semi, and so she switches lanes. She pulls into the right lane, or not the right lane, the left lane, to pass the semi, and then immediately jerks the car back into the right lane. And I looked at her. I was like, "What?" And she was like, "I'm so sorry."
Dun
I
dun
was like,
dun.
"What happened?" And she was like, "Oh, I fell asleep for a second."
Fully fell asleep on the highway.
Right
Right behind the semi.
I was like, "There's an exit right there. Let's just pull off and take a little brain break." And so that's what we did. I bought her an energy drink, and then she went the rest of the way.
Cool.
Yeah, that's the most random thing that happened to me. Random yet eventful.
Very
Anyway,
eventful.
switching topics to today's topic: conspiracy theories.
9/11 was an inside job.
Well,
Despite this being an episode on conspiracy theories, I don't know if I can leave that in.
That's crazy. Helen Keller never existed.
Okay,
Oh,
now
she
that is
existed, it
actually
was
a
just
conspiracy
everything else
theory
was
that
a
I might be
scam.
able to get behind.
She never
Helen Keller's
existed.
a scam, bro.
she existed. Just the
Fake.
deaf and blind part was.
Yeah, no, that's
complete scam.
100% not true.
Okay, so
It's like, how do you communicate
I pulled up. Oh shoot!
if you're deaf and blind?
Also, hold up. You have totally mixed up who you should have on the podcast because you put Lily the Destroyer, on a podcast about Lord of the Rings and Star Wars when she loves conspiracy
No, I
theories.
put her on a podcast
and you
about
put her
movies.
fiance on a podcast about conspiracy theories when he loves Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. So
put her on a
get your
podcast-
story
It was a
straight.
podcast
I put her on a
movies.
podcast about movies.
I mean, yeah,
and
the
she
Marvel
actually turned out
segment
to
was
know
pretty
way
cool.
more about
Right.
most of it than I thought that she would.
I think I was the
She
only
was like,
person
actually,
at this point
if you look
that
at
knew
the
all
comic
that stuff.
books and Spider-Man Special Edition number
I
13.
pulled up I'm looking at on Reddit here. I'll send it to you guys. A conspiracy theory iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You guys know what an iceberg is, as far as
Also, JFK was shot by one of his own security guards.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay,
That
we'll
is-
get
That's
into
a
it.
theory I
So I
heard
sent you the
literally just
conspiracy
today in
theory
a YouTube
iceberg.
video. Was that one of his guards turned around and shot at somebody who was shooting at JFK and hit JFK
No.
accidentally. That totally makes no sense, but
doesn't
it's
make
one that I
sense,
heard
yeah.
today.
That doesn't make sense.
So I sent you the iceberg.
doesn't.
If you don't know, if you're listening to this and you don't know what we're talking about by like conspiracy theory iceberg, basically it's a picture of the iceberg and it kind of plays off the fact that like only whatever, maybe 20% of an iceberg is visible above the surface of the water, and then it's kind of a graph that goes down, and the deeper you get is like the less well-known or less like surface media that topic is. So for example, one in like the top of the iceberg is like Bigfoot. I feel like that's the most basic conspiracy theory you can really talk about.
He's
But
just a gorilla.
At the bottom is one that says that like
teenage Jesus.
the rapture already happened.
Teenage
That's
Jesus.
an example of one that's at the bottom of the
The
iceberg.
rapture already happened. Then I want my money back because I'm still here. just throwing that out there.
People who cannot think don't exist.
What even is the final
Dude,
understanding?
I think, therefore I am.
Why? Okay, why is at the very bottom of the iceberg her?
I know. I don't even know how to research that.
Like, what is that conspiracy? Is
It
that,
just says
is that about the artist?
Shelob or something?
Is that about the artist her that I've heard of? Or is it like just females?
Probably not. It's probably
Because that's a dangerous thing to say on a podcast. But
Okay.
I do like the people who cannot
Human
think don't
brain
exist.
source
Except
code.
that.
All right. First one. I'm going to start it off.
okay. We should start from the top.
Yeah,
and
from the
work our way
top. From the top. All right. Was Atlantis real?
down.
It could be.
Did it exist?
I'm gonna
Well,
go
And-
through
how
my-
California's
this ties-
about to fall off the map. I'm not so
This ties
inclined to say no.
into another one.
Yeah.
One, is Atlantis real? Two, is the Earth hollow?
Oh.
And
you know-
is Atlantis in the center of the Earth?
Did you know Jay was it Tolkien, right? He was
Tolkien, yeah.
super into Hollow Earth theory.
I didn't know that. Really?
That's what my fiance told me. Her
I might have to
source
do a
could
little
be-
bit of Googling, but having read the official biography of him, I don't remember ever reading anything about Hollow Earth.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what
Might
she
have
told me.
been one of his circle mates, though, because there was a lot of weirdos at Oxford in that time, including, but not limited to, C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
There were some
So, you
weird
guys think
things.
that the Earth is hollow and that Atlantis existed?
So here's the thing. The Marina Trench exists.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Mariana
I
Trench.
think, sorry, yeah, Mariana. Marina is totally different. Mariana Trench. I knew I was thinking about something else. So anyway, but that trench exists. That means there's pitfalls in the earth that are that deep.
Right.
I think Atlantis could totally have been a thing.
I-
Except for the fact that there's no historical evidence whatsoever.
But it's
Except for the fact that the myth
but
exists.
same thing with like Machu Picchu.
Right.
Like it quote in quotations existed.
Right. So I think it totally could be a thing.
Now,
Do I think the
is
Earth is
Atlantis,
hollow? No.
Is Atlantis unironically still above ground? Like, is it like just like a lost city in like Brazil? That
Is it a lost city?
like you know what I'm saying?
that
Like you know how like the flood
yeah,
happened? Like the flood
uh-huh.
happened, how like that's how like the story came was
Yeah.
like hypothetically it's Machu Picchu and then like the earth flooded and then everybody died, but everybody thought that the city was lost because everybody died. Like nobody
You
knows where
know-
it is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It is, man, you're making me want to go on a treasure hunt, bro. You're like
The only
putting me
problem
to-
with stories where everybody dies is how do we have the stories?
That's what I'm
then?
saying. So like it doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't make sense unless it is fake. But
But
I
like
think-
you could see how like you connect the dots with that.
yeah, and I think that if it were a city that was above ground, somebody would have traced it and we'd have more historical evidence because of the fact that if everybody dies, then who's around to tell the stories?
It's true.
But there's
And
no
if there's
stories. It's
right,
just like
but if
but it's
there's
like
somebody who says, "Hey, this is a thing," there's got to be a way to trace it back to somebody who was there.
but like we don't have any like first hand or
don't
second
know.
hand or even third hand accounts
Yeah, we
of
just have
Atlantis
the myth.
existing. It's just like what if there was a city that
Yeah, who started that?
That's a good question.
Like, why? Who came up with the idea that there's a city that was?
Look it up.
Okay, here's a thought: isn't Sicily just gonna be Atlantis in a few
Yeah,
hundred
just
thousand
like
years?
California.
I don't know that California's gonna fall off,
California is going to fall
but Sicily
off
is
of
actively
America.
sinking, isn't it?
I think
or is it-
yeah.
Venice.
Is it Venice? I think it's Venice.
I think, is actively sinking.
Venice is the one that Sicily is close, but Venice I think is the one that's actively sinking. But still,
See,
so
here's what-
Venice could just be Atlantis.
Here's
in a
what
few
Google
years.
says. Google says Atlantis is a fictional island mentioned in Plato's works. So we do have
Plato, huh?
We do
so it's
have-
Greek.
it is Greek. The story is about a highly moral, spiritual people who lived in an advanced
Okay, that's
utopian civilization. However, they became greedy, petty, and morally bankrupt, and the gods became angry because their people had lost their way and turned to immoral pursuits.
Here's a cool one.
The island was then sunk and lost in the Atlantic Ocean.
What I'm hearing is that Plato got wind of some Christian thoughts and then twisted it into a Greek mythology. Because a utopia of a city.
See, but I want to know what he actually said.
Yeah.
In the
here's an interesting.
Timaeus and the Cretides.
Here's an interesting.
I don't know how to pronounce those.
Yeah. Do you think there are like lost cities that just no one?
Oh,
found?
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's like been confirmed.
The fact
with
that
that
we
so
found
much.
Pompeii after so long and things like that.
What's the one like in America
There's
that like
one that
where
was
like the
found.
whole like everybody just disappeared, like the colonies? You know what I'm talking
I know
about?
what you're
Roanoke.
talking about.
Oh,
Roanoke
yeah,
is-
Roanoke's
yeah,
a
dude.
thing.
That's a weird.
Is that on this list?
Creepy.
I don't think it's on the
I don't
list.
know. It's a conspiracy. It's
I don't
just
think
a
it's
mystery.
It's like a historical fact at this point.
That's Roanoke's wild. There's a couple of Native American cities out in the west that are like they just disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to the people, but the remains are still there. I mean, Machu Picchu. That's the city of gold concept, right? That's South American, right?
I think El Dorado.
Eldorado's
El Dorado City of Gold. Machu Picchu. I don't know. What is Machu Picchu? I'm gonna pretend.
You're gonna have to fact check
I'm
that.
gonna Google it real quick.
El Dorado, I think, totally could have been a thing. I think that the city of gold is a myth. I think that's a translation issue with
Machu
the
Picchu is a real
Spaniards.
place.
Yeah.
We're talking about El Dorado is what we're talking about.
We're talking about El Dorado, which is what I was thinking. I think El Dorado totally could have been a thing. I do think that the
they
Spaniards...
made a movie about it.
Well, okay, but that's not what I'm talking about here, Canon. I totally think that was a translation issue of the Spaniards and the conquistadors and the people who were looking for it misinterpreted what the Native Americans were saying, but I totally believe that city probably existed.
See, now this is where like we're gonna get into an argument because I think it was actually like made of gold.
You really think so?
I think it was.
You think there's a city actually?
How much gold do we have in the world right now?
I think that like. But not like solid, not like the buildings are made of solid gold. Because like think about like the technology they had. Right, they had like they didn't have the technology at the time.
Gold.
I do think there's like gold inlays and like statues and idols and like an abnormal amount of gold in the city is what I'm saying. Okay. Like gold ornaments.
I could see an abnormal amount from like the richest
gold doorknobs and like stuff like that.
I don't know about that though.
I want to go on an adventure.
Yeah, you guys want to go
Let's do
to
National Treasure 3. Wait, is there a third one?
Outer Banks, bro.
Okay. Outer Banks.
I've never seen that.
Sure. I don't know about that. I definitely think El Dorado probably existed. I would say it's probably a translation issue rather than like an interpretation issue. Their interpreters got it wrong or didn't get it wrong and wanted to send the Spaniards on a stupid search for nothing. I could see an abnormal amount of gold, but like not like gold doorknobs.
No, absolutely. I'm not over here saying like, yeah, no, they had like a gold 3-story solid gold building.
And also, like, it could have been a translation issue of the Native Americans were saying like a really wealthy city by their own standards, and it translated into a city of gold.
But like, I don't know. I feel like there's enough like. There was enough of a cat and mouse with that it was like there's definitely like they're like it's made of gold, like it's made of gold, like
I'm sure at some point somebody was like, yeah, screw this, it's made of gold. You guys are totally right. But
no, I think El Dorado existed for sure.
As to Atlantis, I think El Dorado existed. Atlantis I'm a little more hesitant about. I think it's possible though, but I think it definitely is not
Pangea
above ground. Okay, Pangea gets into evolution. I'm not so sure about that.
Well, Pangea is like the theory that it's the supercontinent theory.
The supercontinent,
which looks totally possible, but
it's definitely
don't know.
It's definitely possible. I don't know about probable.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought
because probability and possibility are different.
I guess I kind of always thought agreed with the idea of Pangea because in the Bible when it talks about the flood, it talks about water shooting up like out of the ground.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
You combine the biblical stories of the Tower of Babel, where suddenly all of these people are all in the same space with the same language,
right?
With the flood and with the concept of Pangea, and it all sort of makes sense because it's like, okay, there's a lot of people speaking the same language. Suddenly they're not. Water is shooting up from the ground and coming down. So there's a lot more water than normal, and there's a good chance it could separate things. I just don't know if it's like the continent was floating.
No, I think that
what we've imaged of Pangea isn't accurate.
In the realm of possibilities, I think that there was either more water or not as much water. Yeah. The water levels changed. Mm-hmm. I think that caused some form of geographical shift and or event, and the supercontinent split into.
Yeah. On a totally random note, Lily should definitely be on this episode, because on this picture is in the tip of the iceberg, the conspiracy of gay frogs, and then partially down the Denver International Airport, which I can talk about a little bit.
Talk about that now.
We can talk about that.
I don't see. I'm like in the gray when it comes to that. Tell me about the Denver International Airport. Oh my gosh,
there's so much to share. This is where I wish Lily was here, because she knows so much more than I do. But it's wild. So, Denver International Airport. I don't think it has a different name. I think
is
that's
it
just what it's
cursed?
Called. Yeah, basically. Spot on.
I thought there was just like a bunch of really freaky stuff.
There's a bunch of random things. So I spent a semester out in Colorado, right? So I was in and out of the Denver International Airport quite a bit, because I went to a school called Colorado Christian University in Lakewood, which is a Denver suburb. And the biggest one, the one that everybody talks about, there's this statue of a blue horse outside of the airport. Mm-hmm. And it's got glowing red eyes. I mean, they're
intentionally glowing
intentionally red? Now, right. But the theory is, and none of us were alive at the time, but the theory there's a theory that the airport's controlled by the Illuminati.
Yeah, that's
the thing with the horse is that the person who built it died because the horse's head fell off and crushed him. In a freak accident, he built this horse sculpture. The head broke off, killed the architect. So nobody knows how it was built per se. And then there were reportings that at night its eyes would glow red, and in the dark it would look really, really freaky. So that's a conspiracy theory, is there's some demon inside this horse.
Interesting.
Like, it's devilish. There were a bunch of accidents that happen around. Denver International Airport is under construction almost constantly. And there are definitely tunnels that nobody knows about except for the people who run the darn thing, that we don't know about, that are hidden behind the construction walls.
Yeah.
My dad's worked there. Like, my dad has worked with a construction consulting firm in the Denver International Airport, so he can confirm that there are some tunnels, that there's some stuff going on behind there, but like not in a conspiracy theory way. He's just, seen the construction, the structure. But like, there's theories about There's theories about secret tunnels. The construction's happening all the time for a reason. The Illuminati's behind it. Freak accidents happen all the time there. I mean, maybe not in the last few years, but they used to, where people would get killed or hurt or maimed or something in freak accidents. And behind it all is this dark figure of the blue horse with its glowing demon red eyes. So it's really easy to walk into that airport and be like, what is going on?
Yeah, I'm going to go off on a little side tangent, if that's okay. You're talking about the tunnels?
Yeah.
So I live in D.C., in the D.C. area, and you can go to like the Capitol building, and like between the Senate and the House of Representatives, there's an underground metro. Oh, that's cool. It's like within the two buildings, so you can go from like above ground from this building, underground to the other building, which is really, really cool. Like like you can walk down there, like you can't like get on the thing because it's for senators and whatever, but like
that totally makes sense.
Like just walk around the tunnels underneath the entire like.
There's a church
Capitol
in Wheaton
building
that has a tunnel, which is not anywhere near as cool, because it's literally just, they have the main church sanctuary building, and then there's a street, and then there's another building, and so there's a tunnel underneath. It's just a hallway, but that's always so cool. It's always like, oh, we're walking underneath the road right now.
Yeah, one of my close family members owns a building here in town, and it's
which building?
It's on. You know where the Family Express is? It's that old building, like right if you come up from the bridge. It's that building on the right.
Really?
So my close family member owns that, and underneath, it's like this old factory that was like used.
Yeah, they look like they're either haunted or a location for a paintball Like
it's this old textile factory, I think, old factory, but and there's like a bunch of different buildings, and if you go into the boiler room, which is like its own separate building, you could go down these really rusty stairs, like the sketchiest stairs you've ever been down.
You should not walk down them anymore.
Like they are paper thin. You should not be walking on them for sure. You go all the way down to the basement of the boiler room. There are tunnels.
Yeah.
In and around the property that like
such a security concern.
Oh, it's so freaky. Like when he first bought it, he's like, guys, there's tunnels. You want to go down there? We're like, heck yeah, we want to go down there.
Of course.
And they're not like tiny tunnels. Like you can crouch walk the entire way. But there's still tunnels.
In the dark. You said you have to crouch?
Yeah, you have to crouch.
Okay, that's a small tunnel.
And so I mean, not like crouch, but like.
But you have to duck your head.
You have to duck your head,
and you're also shorter than I am.
There's pipes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and so we're like exploring these tunnels, and like we don't know where they lead. We're just walking in a tunnel, and you'll like turn a corner, and there'll just be like a dead dog.
Oh.
Like just like a dead animal just there.
Well, that's sad.
And there's like spiders and pipes and all this stuff, and then you just keep following the tunnel, and you peek your head up wherever you find a way to do that, and you're just either inside the building or you're outside, or like it's just really like, I don't know, that kind of like urban exploration is like really neat.
Did you know, speaking of urban exploration, going a little bit off of, it's not a conspiracy theory because this is actual fact. I don't know what goes on down there other than like metro and trash, but
you gonna talk about New York?
No, I'm not going to talk about New York. I'm going to talk about Chicago.
Ooh.
Because I'm from Chicago. I know next to nothing about New York except for what I watched in Batman, which doesn't count because that's basically Chicago anyway.
Justice.
Because The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, a lot of that was filmed in Chicago, not in New York.
Well, it's in Gotham.
It's in Gotham, which is in theory the New York metro area. Gotcha. That's what a lot of theory, like I think that's where the comics put it, is more like New York.
Yeah.
But a lot of the movie was filmed in Chicago. But so Chicago, that part of Illinois is a huge swamp, right? So if you're ever on the first floor of a Chicago building, you're actually on the second floor because the entire city is built a floor up.
Interesting.
So there's an entire underlevel.
It's a floating city.
Basically. Again, this is from my dad.
That is really interesting.
My dad's been down at the sub level, which is built so that the city is flat, basically, because they had to drain the swamps and protect it from sinking and all that. And I don't know what all goes into that. I do know that the city's not sinking and it's all dried up, but there is a sub level that's actually ground zero. That's where the metro trains run. That's where a lot of things happen underneath. There's
you guys
trash,
want to go to Chicago and
sewers. I don't know how to get down there. But also, knowing Chicago,
tunnels and
I don't want to go down there.
Yeah, no, there's like...
If you go down to Oak Brook, you go Oak Brook down below or around Moody. I would hate to be down underneath there because who knows what goes on down there, but nothing good.
Bunch of crackheads, probably.
But like those scenes in the Batman movies where it's like the city never sleeps and there's creepos on every corner. Imagine that, but underground. That's what I think of. It's probably not true because that's like where the sewers are and where a lot of public safety stuff happens, but like that's a little cool.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah. That's not a conspiracy theory, but I can talk about some fun Chicago stories.
Dude, Chicago's actually really interesting.
The Murder House, the Murder Hotel, H.H. Holmes.
I know who you're talking about.
So cool.
I think
terrifying.
I talked to someone about this recently. Lore. Have you ever listened to the podcast Lore?
No.
Okay. It's episode 8 is called The Castle, and it covers the Murder
H.H. Holmes and the Murder Hotel.
Yeah, and that's actually
that's
one of
so
the
wild.
freakiest things I've ever heard. Do you know what we're talking about?
Do you know what this is, Canon?
Like vaguely.
It's wild. I learned about it in high
There's
school.
There's this guy who owned a hotel and basically turned it into...
Hold on. This guy, his name's H.H. Holmes. He owns a hotel. He's also a great benefactor to the local high school science program, donating skeletons. Nobody could confirm where he got the skeletons from until after he died, and they were able to search said hotel. And they found two-way mirrors, acid baths in the basement.
No way.
Gas tubes in every room of the hotel.
Pulling my leg.
No, I'm not. This is legitimate.
It's a murder house.
It was a murder hotel. People would come and stay, and they would never leave, except for in skeletal form donated to high schools or science programs.
Could they identify the bodies like dental records and stuff too?
I don't know if they could at the time because this is in the 1900s.
That's crazy.
He killed over 200 people in a hotel. Like they found secret passageways with two-way mirrors so people would walk down hallways and he could watch them through the mirrors. Almost every room had some form of gas tube gas could be filtered into the room. The doors could lock on the outside, that sort of thing. It's a whole thing.
That's
and
crazy.
Nobody knew about it for years.
That's crazy.
Until they finally, it also burned down.
He's known as the country's first known serial killer.
Yeah.
I think
it was 1900s, right?
Do we want to talk about the big one? Does jet fuel melt steel beams?
Wait, what?
Does jet fuel melt steel beams? Was 9/11 an inside job? Or did the jet fuel actually melt the steel beams on the Twin Towers?
Is that what they say is what happened structurally?
Structurally, it's like actually like really, really hard for jet fuel to burn hot enough to melt the steel beams in it.
So but they say that the planes crashing into the tower didn't.
Which makes sense, but what they're saying is like the planes crashing into the tower. Mm-hmm. The plane is like still obviously parts of it are like in the tower, but they're saying the jet fuel is what melted it and caused the thing to collapse.
See, I didn't even know about that.
There'd still be like you think about like a building that big, they're designed to be structurally sound enough that like if something, unironically like a plane hits it,
are they built like that though?
I'm pretty sure because they have to
before 2001 were they built in a way
earthquakes and stuff.
Okay,
like they have to be like structurally sound like like it's like wind and
wind, yes. Earthquakes, yes. But sudden trauma from the side.
Well, I'm just saying, like, do you
plane
think
flying at what? How many miles per hour do those things go at?
500 miles an hour,
something like that. I don't know. That's interesting. I haven't heard about the jet fuel. I can totally see how it'd be like, oh yeah, a plane running into it wouldn't make the whole building collapse.
It would not make the whole building crash. It would take off like half the building. Like
that's always been my thing. Is like, how in the world did the whole thing come down?
That's where the jet fuel thing comes in, because they're saying like the jet fuel like melted it and it structurally became unsound and then collapsed from the inside out. I don't think that's true. I think that jet fuel, like, I don't know. I don't think that a building that big can just like self-destruct.
Yeah.
On like,
I see that.
You know what I'm saying? Like the plane. Like if you look at like the footage and whatever, like you're like, okay, like obviously this is horrible and not great, but how did the building come down?
How did the whole thing go down?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know how that works.
Like it doesn't, like structurally, it doesn't make sound.
The planes hit the building like more than halfway up?
Oh yeah, there's like the top
so
like
how does
quarter.
The whole thing just come down on itself like a nesting doll?
That's where the inside job part comes in.
Yeah.
Because
I could totally
people
see
are
that.
like, oh yeah, no, there was like.
Have you seen the video?
I don't know how, but I could see that.
There's an animation of Superman flying and stopping the plane before it hits the towers, and he's like, I did it, I saved it, and then the buildings blow up behind him. Like,
anyway,
yeah,
dude, that's actually funny.
That's a little awkward.
But yeah, no, 9/11 was an inside job.
That's such an interesting thought. I have not heard enough information on that one before. That's a thought. Yeah, Murder Hotel is a wild story.
Yeah.
In the middle. Did we find out if that was? I think that was early 1900s, maybe 1950s. 1950s sounds right to me. But also, side note, Tolkien was not involved in the Hollow Earth theory at all. So, different person.
So moving down, we've covered kind of the first two tiers a little bit.
Oh, just kidding. H.H. Holmes was probably 1870s. 1880s.
Way earlier than that.
Yeah, because he died in 1896 in Philadelphia. American con artist and serial killer, active between 91 and 94 of the 1800s. So, yeah, he was executed in Philadelphia by hanging in 1896. Cool.
Queen Elizabeth was a cannibal.
That's disgusting, but totally what?
It's on the list.
That's interesting.
Cannibal Queen Elizabeth.
Hitler in Argentina.
Ooh, skinwalkers.
Okay, remind me what those are, because that has to do with The Walking Dead, right?
No.
Okay, no. I don't know what this is.
So, shoot, bro. I know, like,
Caleb knows a lot more about this than I do.
A lot about skinwalkers, but also at the same time, not a ton. It is a folk monster. It's from Navajo folklore. A skinwalker is a malevolent witch from Navajo folklore that can transform into, possess, or disguise themselves as an animal.
Oh.
They're considered the opposite of Navajo values and are a source of fear and mystery in Navajo communities. They are said to perform evil ceremonies and use manipulative magic. According to Navajo belief, a person can become a skinwalker after committing a heinous act, such as killing a family member. This gives them supernatural powers that allow them to shapeshift into animals at will. They often take the form of coyotes, wolves, foxes, or bears, but they can take the form of any animal. People believe that skinwalkers are hard to kill. Some say that the best way to kill a skinwalker is to have a shaman perform spells and rituals to return the skinwalker's evil back to them.
Huh.
Others believe that bullets dipped in white ash can kill a skinwalker if they hit it in the head or neck.
So one of the conspiracy theories is that they're extraterrestrial beings, apparently.
Really? That's interesting.
I
feel like it's kind of hard to get study humans of what they actually are because they've been kind of commercialized to the point that it's like I feel like it's difficult to get any sort of
what I'm seeing is not that people say they're real, but that like there's a Skinwalker Ranch theory. There's a conspiracy theory that they're actually extraterrestrial beings who come to Earth to study humans. It's just theories trying to explain the paranormal activity.
I
Skyquakes.
don't know what that is.
I don't know
Okay, I looked it up.
Are you sure you're not talking about Wendigos? Because Wendigos and Skinwalkers...
Well, it's a Google search brings up both. So.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, skyquakes are a phenomenon where a loud banging sound is reported to originate from the sky, not thunder, during a thunderstorm.
Oh?
The sound may cause noticeable vibration in the ceiling or across a particular room. Those who experience skyquakes typically do not have a clear explanation for what caused them and are perceived as mysterious.
Is it a conspiracy theory or is it just like something that actually happens?
It's a conspiracy theory.
What is conspiratorial about that?
I don't like the fact that have you ever heard of skyquake?
No, I haven't. But
so if I had, am I crazy or are you crazy? I don't know. They have been heard in several locations around the world. North Sea, Canada, Colombia, Japan.
So I'm looking at this chart, and it's talking about things like Aztec blood sacrifices as being conspiracy theories. It may not be the most accurate. That's not a conspiracy theory. That is 100% historically documented. I wouldn't necessarily say confirmed, because the people writing about it were definitely politically biased. However, I don't think that makes it any less true.
I'm looking at this chart, and there are a bunch of weird ones at the bottom, like
her.
Like the moon isn't real.
Well, you know what's funny
Infinity
though?
Paradox.
The moon isn't real, but
what is
lower
the
down
paradox?
There's the conspiracy theory that the U.S. actually landed on the moon. Not that we didn't. Not that the moon isn't real, but that we actually landed on it. So.
Well, I think that the moon. All right. Time out, real quick. Is the moon landing real or not?
Yes, it is.
I think it is.
I don't believe.
Okay.
I don't believe. Now, let me. Before I say this.
Okay. Let's hear what you're.
Before you start giggling in your seat like a little schoolboy, I do think we have been to the moon. I guess 100% is confirmed.
Yeah.
We've been to the moon. I do think that we were the first people to the moon.
Okay.
I do not think that it happened at the time and the place that it did.
Interesting.
So I think that
Do you think it happened after or before?
After, 100%. I think that the space race, obviously the space race was real. I do think that we flubbed and or twisted the moon landing by a couple months, maybe even a couple years, just to put pressure on Russia. I do I'm not debating whether or not we've been to the moon. We've been to the moon.
So I have one word and a hyphenated 2 words for you that make up a name. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Do you know who that is?
The guy who landed on the moon? No, I'm just
no.
I know who that is. I know who that is.
This crazy smart scientist guy. He's got some really interesting ideas, and he's really knowledgeable about this stuff. You know what he said? He said it would have cost more money at the time for Hollywood to reproduce what they did on the moon than it did to send the people to the moon. So it makes no sense from a standpoint historically and politically and economically, from a financial standpoint, for the moon landing to have been faked, because it would have been more expensive, more time consuming, and of no practical use. Even if they did it like years before, it still would have cost more, is what he said, what I remember him saying, than it did for them to actually send Armstrong and the others to the moon. So that's the most like solid argument for the moon landing to be real that I've heard. I always thought it was real, but like hearing that made me kind of laugh, because it's like financially that makes no sense, which if we know anything about our world, money runs everything. So like it would make sense to me that it'd be real.
Interesting. Interesting.
That's one thought I've heard.
All right, here's another one.
Yeah?
Is there a military base inside Mount Rushmore?
Well, Phineas and Ferb didn't find one.
Because there are chambers behind Mount Rushmore. Uh-huh. And is there a treasure in Mount Rushmore, or a military base? Or is there something in Mount Rushmore?
I would love to see World War III happen and just like nuclear missile silos pop out of kind of Lincoln's face.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I get that. I know. I started with I want there to be a World War III. I don't. I hate violence. That's not a thing.
Death and destruction on a nuclear scale. But if World War III was to happen and nuclear missile silos just pop out of like Lincoln's eyeballs on Mount Rushmore, that would be funny.
Spitting out
that would be hilarious. I have no idea. It takes a lot of work to hollow out a mountain without people noticing. Granted, there are also 4 large faces on said mountain, so it's possible. I do know that
there are chambers in Mount Rushmore.
And I also know that there's a Native American monument that's really close to Mount Rushmore that nobody knows about, that has much more important significance than Mount Rushmore does, and everybody just kind of glazes over it. I don't remember what it's called. My dad told me about it because he went there, because he travels all over the place.
I feel like on the same vein as that, Area 51. What do you think?
I mean, Wyoming doesn't even exist. That's the conspiracy theory. Why did people think Wyoming exists? It doesn't.
Wyoming exists. I've been there.
No, that's Area 51. You have not been to Wyoming.
That is an interesting conspiracy theory.
Or Idaho. You have not been to Wyoming.
Why? All of Wyoming. Well, what about Yellowstone?
So not in Wyoming. All of Wyoming is Area 51.
Have you ever actually checked whether or not you were in Wyoming when you were in Wyoming? Are you sure?
I went to Yellowstone.
I mean, so did I, but I wasn't in Wyoming.
What? No, hold on. I'm just confused.
Yeah.
Trust me, so am I. It's a joke that's been running since I was like 12.
Okay.
Like
so I was tweaking.
I thought I was getting
here's the thing. I
was getting gaslit.
What's funny about it is it totally could be a conspiracy theory, because I've had the same joke and I didn't start it, with several different people who didn't know each other. Like, I had friends when I was 12 to 14 that were like, Wyoming doesn't exist. Exactly.
But it can't be a state, because there's like House of Representatives and senators and stuff. Unless they're all hired by the government.
Yep.
Well, I mean, they work for the government, obviously.
Government.
Right. But it's
apparently Area 51 does exist.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's not,
it exists.
Yeah.
It's there.
We just have never been inside. We just don't know what's in there.
Well, okay, but who's saying we've never been inside?
The world.
Yeah, and whenever has the world been right about things like that?
If they wouldn't have something to hide, I feel like they would just be like, yo.
I mean this like genuinely, not because of pop culture influences from...
Pop culture has to come from somewhere, that's all.
That's what I'm saying. But this is like genuinely what I think they have in Area 51. I think it's a military base. I think that they have some form of storage for very, very, very valuable historical artifacts.
That's a cool take.
I.e.,
they got the Ark of the Covenant.
I.e., the Ark of the Covenant.
And
other like powerful religious and
do we know about
historical,
like the Quran? Do we know if they're like Muhammad's original text sort of thing is in?
But like that's
a thing.
If I had all of America to myself, and I had the option of I had things I didn't want people to see, I would pick a remote place, to a place that nobody has really ever been in,
like Wyoming.
like Wyoming, because it doesn't exist.
Right, exactly. See, now that's another joke started with people who didn't
IQ.
know the people
Hashtag
that
Wyoming doesn't exist.
Yeah, hashtag
it's going on a T-shirt.
Yep.
Wyoming's not real.
No, I think there might actually.
But no, I think that's where they keep like really historical, valuable artifacts that could cause like imagine we like everybody just knew that the Ark of the Covenant was in America. Like, what are you gonna? Like that would just be war, you know?
Yeah.
Like AP that. News, growing online theory says Wyoming doesn't exist. I'm not the only one who says that.
Stupid thing.
It's so
That's
dumb.
Such a stupid
but
thing.
I was just thinking, bigthink.com. Okay, why Wyoming doesn't exist, but Bielefeld does?
I have a question. What constitutes a state's existence?
Right.
Beyond it being
legality.
On a map?
And there being like a border saying this is the state and this is not the state. Because like, think about the difference between Indiana and Ohio. What's the difference? A line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
some places like Illinois.
Who's drawing the line? Where did the line come from?
Arbitrary drawings by random apes in the government. Apes being the actual creatures, not being an insult to humans. There's a thought.
Wyoming's not real.
I don't know. Yeah, no, Wyoming is one big conspiracy according to the Urban Dictionary.
So, see, that's crazy though.
There's
like,
this wild joke. It's like, I don't know that anybody would believe that, but it's so funny to just be like, Wyoming doesn't exist. What do you mean? What do you mean you've been to Yellowstone?
At this point, it's just a nationwide.
Are you sure you were in Wyoming when you were in Yellowstone?
You didn't go to Wyoming. Yeah,
no,
no, you didn't, dude.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
You did. Just start gaslighting.
Are we sure Yellowstone is in Wyoming? Let me look it up. Oh no, it's in North Dakota.
Maybe we should start gaslighting Zach and be like, "You're not from Nebraska."
Okay,
dude, Nebraska doesn't even exist.
Might be the most boring state in the world, which is
Wyoming.
No, Wyoming doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. How can
Nebraska
it be the most boring
state? Wyoming doesn't exist.
Even Idaho has potatoes. What does Wyoming have? Buffaloes.
Yeah, but other places have
have buffaloes. That's what I'm saying.
And most of them are endangered or extinct anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Wyoming doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I hate that.
I kind of looked. I looked at another.
Okay.
I think this was at the bottom of the iceberg. Project Bluebeam.
What's that?
Where's that at?
What is that? Blue Beetle.
Project Bluebeam. No, it's a conspiracy theory about a supposed project whose purpose was to create an artificial second coming in order to control people. As per the alleged theory, the New World Order's purpose was to abolish all Christian and traditional religions and to replace them with one worldwide religion based on the cult of man. I can tell you're so
like
interested
that kid.
In what
is that? There are several movies that I can think of that I'm struggling to think of actually that have situations like that where there's this big epic moment of somebody revealing something, and then there's just this. Oh, sorry.
It's right behind me, isn't it?
Something like that.
That's the same energy.
Yeah.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
You said Blue Beam?
Yeah, Project Bluebeam. I couldn't really find anything else on it. That's the annoying thing about conspiracy theories sometimes is the main reason they're conspiracy theories is because there's not a lot of information about them. Yeah. So some of them are just really hard to talk about.
I've never heard of that. That sounds interesting.
That does
I don't think the second coming's happened yet because I also don't think the rapture's happened yet because, again, I am a sinner.
That's on the list.
But I don't know that I've ever heard of a large population of people disappearing.
Roanoke.
Other than Roanoke, which is not big enough.
We should, I'm actually
okay.
Roanoke is like mad fascinating. So for those of you who don't know, you uncultured swine.
Okay, that's not very nice. Might be true, but not very nice.
Is a lost colony.
So here's a short version as far as I'm aware. During the colonial times, there was a settlement called Roanoke in Connecticut, I think is where it's at, right? Is it in Connecticut? I think it's in Connecticut.
It's in North America,
it's like New England.
Roanoke Island's in Dare County.
Rhode Island? Is it Rhode Island or Connecticut? It's in New England.
It's in New England. I'm not.
And so
specific.
The settlement was like established, and it was pretty, like it was like a solid. Like there's like I don't know, like 200 people, 100 people. I don't know how many people there are. There's a good number of people there. And then they sent out for supplies, and like a group of people left, and there was like no communication, and they came back like 3 months later, and like literally like everybody was gone, like no bone remains, no nothing, just like gone. and people have been looking for.
It was an attempt by Sir Walter Raleigh. Raleigh. Anyway, that famous guy. What I'm seeing, founded in 1585. 5 years later, it was visited by a ship and it was completely empty.
Right, which is like
fate of 112 to 121 colonists remains unknown. Approximately. Yeah, I'm not. It's within what's now North Carolina. So on the coast of North Carolina is what it says.
Oh, I was way off.
Yeah, but still. Yeah, because it was one of the first attempts to colonize North America is what I've heard. But a lot of people went to New England, but that was mostly religious.
The Quakers and stuff.
Yeah. Protesters. So that was one of the people that decided to try and go south. I think that's also why it was so unknown, because there wasn't a lot of people around there.
Interesting.
So in present day Dare County, North Carolina.
So in North Carolina, but I think, was it sickness? Where did they all go? Was it?
Because there would be bodies, right?
So
there would be bodies. There's no bodies.
Was there clothes? People leave
So
stuff
this is where conspiracy theories start to come in. Were they abducted by aliens?
So here's the Wikipedia facts that we know, and this is Wikipedia, so trust it with a grain of salt.
Oh, I trust Wikipedia
with my life.
Yeah, there's enough people in the world that know what they're doing.
So it was founded by it was an experiment by Sir Walter Raleigh, but he wasn't there. So because he was an English knight, so he wasn't gonna put his life on the line. Anyway,
Right.
Founded by Governor Ralph Lane in 1585 on Roanoke Island. It was troubled by a lack of supplies and poor relations with some of the Native Americans. So a resupply mission by Sir Richard Grenville was delayed. It was supposed to bring them supplies. So
it's his fault.
The governor abandoned the colony and returned to England with Sir Francis Drake in 1586. Shout out Sir Francis Drake, what a legend. Grenville arrived 2 weeks later and also returned home, leaving behind a small detachment to protect Raleigh's claim. A second expedition, I'm just reading this at this point, led by John White, landed on the island in 1587 and set up another settlement. Raleigh had sent him to establish the city of Raleigh in Chesapeake Bay. That attempt became known as the Lost Colony due to the unexplained disappearance of its population. During a stop to check on Grenville's men, the pilot of the flagship, Simon Fernandez, forced White and his colonists to remain on Roanoke. So John White was forced to stay on Roanoke. White returned to England with Fernandez, intending to bring more supplies in 1588. The Anglo-Spanish War delayed his return to Roanoke until 1590, and he found the settlement fortified but abandoned.
No, that is even more interesting.
Wait for it.
Fortified.
The cryptic word Croatoan was found carved into
That's
the
right. I forgot about that.
I forgot
about that.
White interpreted to mean that the colonists had relocated to Croatoan Island. But before he could follow this lead, rough seas and a lost anchor forced the mission to return to England. The fate of the approximately 112 to 121 colonists remains unknown. Speculation that they had assimilated with the nearby Native American communities appears in writings as early as 1605.
No.
Investigations by the Jamestown colonists produced reports that Roanoke settlers had been massacred, and there were stories of people with European features being seen in Native American villages, but no conclusive evidence was found.
I feel like
interest in the matter.
There would be
Hold
bodies.
on, I'm not done yet. Interest in the matter fell until 1834 when George Bancroft published his account in A History of the United States. Bancroft's description of the colonists, particularly White's infant granddaughter Virginia Dare, cast them as foundational figures in American culture and captured the public imagination. So, in popular culture,
I feel like Native Americans is the most reasonable explanation.
But it's not the fun one.
Or they tried to go back.
No,
to
I definitely think they were abducted by aliens.
I don't think aliens.
The Egyptians. The Egyptians flew their giant pyramids and spacecraft over and abducted them.
That's right, because the pyramids were built by aliens.
That's what I'm saying.
That
they
is
were
an actual theory.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the theory about the pyramids and their
ancient aliens?
Ancient aliens and their relation to the stars? And during
really?
Yeah. So here's a crazy thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the pyramids, allegedly, I don't know, this is all allegedly, they are right on the line of the equator, and like longitude, latitude lines, like directly, like the 90-degree angle of the pyramids are like right there. And if you like point up and you look at their orientation, they match the constellation Orion's belt.
Quick question. Orion's belt is a northern hemisphere constellation.
That's why I said allegedly.
Is Egypt in the northern or southern hemisphere? I think it's in the northern, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I have a question. The Earth spins, so how does it always point to the same constellation?
It spins on...
It changes.
This axis and on this axis. So it spins around itself and it spins around the sun. It doesn't spin from top to bottom. So that's why north is always a north and south is always a south, right?
It's like this way.
So the stars are like this, are over top and underneath. So the southern hemisphere has a different set of stars mostly than the northern hemisphere does. But just like certain...
So that was probably a really stupid question to ask.
Maybe it was,
Not a
but
stupid
that's
question.
okay.
I also took...
No stupid questions, only stupid people. Oh, wait.
I took astronomy class in school.
I didn't. I was just interested in this sort of
shout out Jen Avey,
junk.
Greatest teacher this side of the Mississippi. Love you, Mom.
She's pretty cool. I've never been taught by her, but she's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. I love my mom. But I took a constellation class, and so like that was what we did for the class was we like went out at night and just like looked at stars and we like made flashcards. And
so
it was really cool.
In the winter and summer months, different stars are more visible. So like Orion will shift from up high in the sky to down on like the horizon, right? But it never... I don't know if Orion goes into the southern hemisphere, but somewhere how the world shifts, there's different stars in the northern versus southern hemisphere. I think Egypt is in the northern hemisphere because I'm always...
That's where like
I'm always off on where the equator actually is.
Like I could be pulling things out of a hat.
Fascinating.
But I think I mean this genuinely. I think the pyramids are like right on the equator.
Let's see if we can find the equator.
Because like
on Google Maps.
I don't know.
Google Maps, you should put your equator in the maps because it doesn't seem to be showing up.
Anyway, we can't just like leave these listeners with silence, so I'm just gonna keep talking.
Okay.
But no, like Egypt stuff is like really cool.
Yes, the Egyptian mythology is fascinating.
It's like
so the alien
really,
theory is like
really
well,
cool.
Okay. Here's the thing about the alien theory. Of all of the people who could have built the pyramids in history, the Egyptians and the Romans are the only ones I could see doing that. Like, so as far as like if the ziggurats showed up and people were like, "Oh my gosh, aliens built them," I'd be like, "Okay, that's
it's a brick
thought."
House.
But the big ones, like some of the
big,
bigger
like
temples, but like the way that Egypt built the pyramids is so wildly engineered, I totally believe it.
Like,
it's totally the Egyptians. I don't think the aliens built it at all, partially because
really?
I'm
Interesting.
a nerd, and I was also homeschooled, and my grandma's a history teacher.
For the listeners, we are all homeschooled. Yeah. the three of us have all been homeschooled.
Right, listen, I was public schooled for 2 years.
Oh, shut
okay,
up.
that just means you're homeschooled and you want to not be known as homeschooled. You have to own it. Anyway,
I was homeschooled.
So my grandma was is a history teacher. She's also her degrees in library science, I think is what it is.
You can get a degree in library science.
Yes, you can get a degree in library science.
Bro. They just give out degrees for anything nowadays. I've got a degree in window installing.
Okay, but that was in the 50s.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
That was in the 60s, I think. 60s, 70s.
They needed libraries.
Now. Yeah, except she's never actually worked at a library because she's a mom. But she's a smart person.
Right.
Anyway, that's the point. My grandma's smart. Both of them are. But they taught me a lot. Spent a lot of time in Egypt. Well, not... I've never been to Egypt. Let's put that out there. Spent a lot of time reading about Egyptian history. Their engineering was absolutely incredible. So the concept that they were like, hey, let's get ramps and all of these slaves to pull limestone blocks to build monuments to our gods and our rulers who are also gods, the pharaohs, totally checks out because the two things Egyptians were really good at, science and theology.
And math. Don't forget about math.
That's part of science. It's not, but like that's what science.
Yeah.
That sort of engineering,
the
math, sciences, and their total devotion to their gods, incredible. So the fact that they engineered a way to build these giant pointy square things to this guy for a religious reason totally makes sense. Right. The only other people I could see doing that are the Romans, because they built the Roman roads. So if they've got engineers who can do that, they've got engineers who could build the pyramids, except the pyramids were there first. So I don't think aliens are really much of a thing. I've never really... let's see. How do I want to say this? I wouldn't say that aliens aren't real. I've never seen a reason to believe that they are, though.
Yeah.
Aliens. So I looked at the Reddit that had the iceberg on it, and there's an explanation for her.
Okay. Oh, is there really?
Yeah, go for it. Read it.
A deep...
Oh, side note, Egypt is in the northern hemisphere, so it could line up with her.
That's what I'm saying.
A deep theory speculating that God attempted to create a wife for himself and failed. So
interesting.
Heretical.
Okay, I'm a Christian. God can't fail at anything he chooses to do. So if he wanted to create a wife,
he would have done that.
He would have done that. However, he doesn't need to, because he doesn't need the company.
That's a whack conspiracy theory for people to like.
Weird.
Yeah.
You think there's like enough people who like, even like people like Islam and Mormons, like they would be like, that's not true at all. But I guess it's 2024.
Here's the other thing with the Egyptian thing. Orion wasn't labeled as a constellation by the Egyptians. It was labeled by the Greeks.
By the Greeks, yeah.
So,
which
means that Orion's belt as we know it might have had a totally different meaning to the Egyptians, which means they could have built that in line with Orion's belt on purpose.
Look up, see if they actually are, because like
that's what so there's an Orion correlation theory that suggests the 3 largest pyramids of Giza, of the Giza complex. So not the 3
not the 3 great, but
not
like
the 3
of
great
them.
pyramids, but the one of Giza, the complex there, were built to align with the 3 stars of Orion's belt: Al-Natak, Al-Nalam, and Mintaka. It was first published in 1989. Okay. Ancient Egyptians associated Orion with Osiris, the god of rebirth in the afterlife. That totally makes sense.
That lines up because that's where like
believed that pharaohs became stars in the northern sky after they died.
Interesting.
And the pyramids were built to face north to ensure that the kings would join the circumpolar stars. Okay. I've never heard the stars thing, but that would not surprise me.
The stars thing makes sense, though.
It does. While the pyramids and Orion's belt share some similarities, the alignment isn't perfect. However, the theory does explain why the 3rd pyramid is slightly off from the other 2. They also have other astronomical associations, such as the 4 faces of each pyramid aligning with the 4 cardinal points of the compass. This is what I mean. So, why would aliens build these pyramids, right? What purpose do they have in Egypt, where it's all desert? What purpose does that serve? However, on the flip side, the Egyptians, religiously minded, mathematics and sciences, smartest people on the planet at the time, basically. Of course they build these giant temples to gods with their faces facing north, south, east, and west, their points aligning with some of the stars, all based on their religious theology, let's call it, which I don't know if theology is the right word, but it fits. It totally makes sense to me. Why would that not be a case?
Interesting one.
You know?
No, I follow that for sure.
I love Egypt. Egyptian mythology is so cool. Okay.
Is the theory that the God in the Bible is evil and the real ultimate deity cannot be named.
Is that not Gnosticism?
The God in the Bible is a deceier. It says it's called Gnosticism.
Okay. I've heard a lot of heresies, and so I get them mixed up. Let's put it that way. Because I've also heard of dualism. But
Bohemian Grove.
This is the least Subtractive IQ podcast.
Yeah, we're going high level with this.
Went to a grove in California to make sacrifices to an owl god and partake in cult-like rituals. Alex Jones snuck in and actually filmed all of this happening 20-something years ago.
Where is Alex
Read that
Jones?
again, because I think I know a
Bohemian Grove. A long-standing rumor that the world's most powerful and influential people went to a grove in California to make sacrifices to an owl god and partake in cult-like rituals. Alex Jones snuck in and actually filmed all this happening 20-something years ago.
Okay. Speaking of owls.
Okay. Go for it, yeah.
Side note into fictional things.
Ooh,
Do you think that the owl quote unquote God had something to do with the gods in Star Wars and the owl of you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're
you
talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Like Clone Wars, Clone Wars, the owl that follows Ahsoka around.
Yeah. Like the what are they called? Like the time gods? Because no, it's the
Time Lord.
It's the sister, the brother,
the brother, and the dad, and then the owl, because the owl goes with the sister.
Yes.
And the son is this like the death,
the dark brother,
or
something like that. So basically,
you don't know what we're talking about.
This is a Clone Wars series.
This is a Star Wars thing. You'll
where Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka end up going to Mortis, which is this planet that
Is that the one where Anakin almost becomes evil?
Yeah.
I remember that
so
happening.
basically, they go and they find the light side of the Force, the dark side of the Force living in harmony, basically, because there's this father. I don't remember where he stands. He stands in the middle or something. Anyway, and there's a daughter and a brother. The daughter represents the light side of the Force. Okay. The brother represents the dark side. And the daughter has this little owl creature. I don't remember what the creature's actually called. You should definitely look that up, Canon.
Yeah, I am.
But the owl creature.
They're called the Mortis gods.
Yes.
They exist in the Star Wars universe in between worlds.
Right. Alter Mortis is a great episode.
Yes. They are immensely powerful beings known as Force wielders. The Father, the Daughter, and the Son serve to guide the Force along its path in the galaxy. I'm looking for...
Trinitarian.
Right.
Except
okay.
Not.
Because
one's good, one's evil, and one's...
better
balanced.
Yeah.
So Star Wars Trinitarianism.
I'm trying to figure out where the names are, because this is just like saying like, oh, in Rebels it did this. Okay, all right. The daughter represents the light side of the Force. The daughter represents the light side of the Force, is the side that the Jedi tend to favor. Where's the owl? What's the owl's name?
It turns out all of Star Wars is just a brother and a sister making everything up. It's all just them playing.
In the Clone Wars, the daughter sacrifices herself to save the father, then transfers her remaining life into Ahsoka Tano. In many ways, her death represents the Order 66 and the fall. Meanwhile, the son was left to gain power on Mortis alone. How much like Palpatine ruled the galaxy? Son represents the dark side of the Force.
So Ahsoka just like walks around as the embodiment of the Force.
So basically, yeah, that's kind of like, so this owl, we'll call it an owl.
I want to know what the owl's name is.
Befriends Ahsoka and follows her around, and it doesn't.
Morai, that's what its name
Morai?
is. M-O-R-A-I.
Is that the name of
Morai.
the bird itself, or is that the name of the creature? Like the creature.
Morai
type?
is the female convor with spiritual ties to the daughter Force wielder.
Convor is the name of the bird. It's the type of bird. Anyway, so it's a convor. Its name is Morai.
It has ties to the Force.
Yeah, so it has ties to the daughter, and then after that series, it shows up a couple of times in the Clone Wars, but when it really shows up is in Star Wars Rebels.
Great show, by the way.
I
it's really
enjoyable.
Liked it.
It's enjoyable. I would say it's enjoyable. I would say there are some episodes that are really, really, really good. Twin Sons is an excellent episode, but there are some episodes that are really boring too. However, so in Rebels, it's really when this starts to show up, but this convor owl bird shows up a lot overhead and around when the Force is about to do something good. Usually it's connected with Ahsoka because she shows up as Fulcrum. Spoilers for Star Wars Rebels. Anyway, if you didn't want to hear spoilers, you should have watched it all of however many years ago it showed up.
A long time ago.
But so it's connected to her, and it basically turns Ahsoka into this amalgam representation of the good and the light side of the Force, regardless of any ties to politics, which is really cool.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
but,
that was a side Star Wars tangent, but I just thought about.
Let's land this plane.
I just thought about the owl, and I was like,
for a while.
well, it's a totally
theories.
Different conspiracy theory. Yeah. It's not a conspiracy. It's just a Star Wars theory.
Right. As we're kind of landing the plane, so to speak. There's this theory that the gods of ancient religions, like Greeks and Romans, were actually like fallen angels.
Interesting.
And that
like they like actually like had powers and stuff.
Yeah, and that the archangel Michael killed them all.
Killed them all?
Yeah. Wait.
Hold up.
Let's
I was like tracking with you until
Greek
you said
gods,
Archangel
Zeus, Poseidon,
Michael
Hades,
killed them.
the big three, Kronos, all of the Greek mythology and stuff like that.
Regardless
Percy
of like
Jackson.
what they actually are, like
I took Greek for a long time.
Because there's commercialization, whatever.
Right.
Like I know like the actual stories. Like I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I doubt any of that mythos is real.
Right.
But
that's so interesting.
That is an interesting theory, though.
To think about.
And you can't
because
say
there's like verses that like talk about the angel Michael. Allegedly, there's verses like killing the gods of the Greeks and the Persians.
I don't remember. Wait. Oh.
But that would imply.
I do vaguely remember that, but I think that's more people talking about it. I don't remember anything about Michael like killing other gods.
Killing.
I do remember, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I do remember somewhere in like Genesis they're talking about how Satan's not the only one who quote unquote defects. Like there are some that follow him
because he has like a bunch of followers that like come
And here's it could be it'd be an interesting thought. However, that
is a whack theory. Not like whack.
My
like
hesitation is that there are how many gods in the Hindu religion?
Thousands.
Thousands.
I don't know if it's every.
There's
religion.
a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
There's also thousands of demons. That's why there's spiritual wars.
Right.
Legion.
So, but that's kind of where it's like, Michael killed them all? I don't think so. Could it be that demons are a lot of the source of where a lot of the mythos surrounding some of the cool, like Egyptian, Greek, Norse, all that mythology? Totally. Could it be our God who's actually been sort of twisted by people who didn't have the scriptures?
Well, like a false
and turned into false understanding. I could see that too.
That is an interesting.
It's an interesting thought. I will say I love how Rick Riordan describes the gods at times in his books. You know, Percy Jackson, Magnus Chase, the Chrono series, or the Cain Chronicles.
Never read those. Just
really. So Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard is really good.
That sounds cool. I love.
It's
Norse,
really.
dude,
I like
Norse
that one.
mythology is like my thing.
I like that one. The Cain Chronicles I really enjoyed too. That's Egyptian mythology. The Trials of Apollo I didn't really enjoy at all. And the second series of Percy Jackson is one of those where I enjoy like chapters. I don't really enjoy all the books. However, there's a specific part in one of the books. It might be in a crossover story. Because, so, Percy Jackson, and the Olympians takes place in Manhattan, right? New York. The Cain Chronicles is located in Boston, I think. No. Sorry. Magnus Chase is located in Boston. Cain Chronicles is somewhere else. But it's also close. It might be in the Bronx or something like that. So there's a crossover story where the girl in the Cain Chronicles and Annabeth run into each other.
There's one with Percy and the guy too.
Is there? Okay.
Interesting.
I haven't read that one.
Fight each other.
But I read, there's a crossover. And I think in that story, it talks about how they're like, wait, there's these gods. How are they the same? And then there's somebody who they talk about like the gods are like here and there's something else there.
Like a puppeteer?
No, like an like our god.
Right.
Which I love that theory because Dungeons and Dragons, I'm a nerd. When I think about pantheons, I think about splitting that because there's a lot of like, people are like, oh, don't bring gods and demons into your games because that's heresy and that's devil worship. And I'm like, okay, but what if we look at it this way? The gods are just super powerful beings, but they're not like God, lowercase g. They're not like gods, demons, that sort of thing. They're really powerful, but they're not like God, you know? And Rick Riordan takes I'm not speaking for him because if anybody who's associated with him was to ever listen to this podcast, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he believes this, but it is really cool to think about like, oh yeah, the gods of Asgard, the gods of Greek mythology, the gods of Egyptian mythology are on this one level, and there's something that is still above them. There's like a one being, like our God, like biblical God, that isn't as like present and involved as the lowercase gods. That I think is a really cool idea. And
emphasis on idea.
Idea, yeah. I'm not saying it's true.
Right.
But
I'd love for there to be a World War III.
Hey.
Mass destruction
anyway,
and death and chaos.
I'm not saying that's true,
yes.
but it is going off of that conspiracy theory of like
that is an interesting.
The gods of the Greek mythology were angels that also fell, and that's
cool
interesting.
Theory,
the theory that
really
Michael
cool
killed them all is like wild though.
I feel like that's
the stretch there.
I think I could you could convince me that the reason the Egyptians were like, oh yeah, these are like gods is like,
it's because they were communing with demons or fallen angels, that sort of thing.
Like,
I could totally see that.
I could totally see that.
Mm-hmm.
The Archangel Michael thing is a bit of
slaughtering them all. That seems like
as raw as that would be.
That seems like we need to write a story about Archangel Michael and make him really cool.
Right.
You don't really need to do that, but that's cool.
Anyway, that's a cool theory.
Mm-hmm.
This has been Subtractive IQ. I'm not your host.
We are not your host, but your host is
Caleb Rumschlag. Sorry, I was trying to find more about.
We're going to keep talking about this later, I'm sure.
Thank you for listening to Subtractive IQ. I have been your host, Caleb Rumschlag, joined with
Canon Magic Hands Avey.
Nicholas, my fiance, is the important person in the relationship, Wetherington.
Okay, right. That's,
right.
I'm kidding.